Hi, are you tired of screens winning out every single time you suggest a book? I totally get it. And today in this video, I'm going to show you how to make reading feel just as exciting, if not more so, than screen time. Hope you stick around. Hi, I'm Trina Debry, and this is Readers in the Making. So, whether your child groans and moans when they see a book or simply just can't put their tablet down, I'm going to walk you through 3 screen-free strategies that are fun, engaging, and perfect for struggling or reluctant readers. So, this is what you're going to learn. You're going to learn how to use interactive storytelling to make books come alive. You're going to learn you're going to learn tech-free hacks that boost focus, imagination, and fun. And you're going to learn about Makerspace reading challenges that keeps kids asking for just one more page. So let's get to it. So let's talk about why books are losing to screens and how to flip that script. So screens give kids like immediate gratification. They also don't always offer, with books, they don't always offer quick visuals or instant feedback or fast-paced fun. But here's the truth. Books can do that, and they can do so much more when we shift the experience. So the key is that we want to focus on we don't want to force books. We don't want to act like books are the better choice or, tell them things that they may not necessarily believe. We want them to feel the experience of books. We want them to feel like they're just as rewarding in their child's eyes. So here's why this matters. When kids feel in control, and emotionally, they feel in control emotionally, and they're connected to the reading experience, their brain releases dopamine, which is the same chemical that's released during playing video games or screen time. And when books create laughter, imagination, moments of awe, the brain remembers it and craves it again. So let's jump into 3 kid-tested strategies to help bring books to life. All right, let's start with the problem. The problem is reading feels flat compared to the motion, the music, the animation, the interaction of screens. But how can we actually fix this problem? And that's what we're here to talk about. Bring books to life using your voice, using their imagination, and a little storytelling magic. So we want to read books with voice and drama. We want them to feel the book come alive. Don't just read the story, become the story. Use silly voices, dramatic pauses, sound effects. Let your child co-narrate. Give them a character to voice or sound effect to act out. Another thing that we can do is we can make choices midway through the story. Ask things like, should the character go this way or should the character go that way? And explore both possibilities. Use books like Choose Your Own Adventure. They can be so fun. I know they're like an old school book, but they definitely allow kids to improvise and make choices in the moment. Another thing that we can do is we can let kids act out books. So act out scenes using stuffed animals, costumes, or even just in your living room or using it as a stage. Let your child become the main character for a mini living room performance. Try this tonight. Pick a favorite book and assign each character a voice. Add sound effects with pots and pans, or even your phone on silence or vibrate or thunder or footsteps. There's so many different sound effects that we can find even on our phones. We have the phones. We don't have our screens out. We're just using it for sound effects. All right, let's move on to strategy number 2, tech-free reading hacks to boost focus and fun. So let's first of all talk about the problem. The problems are books can feel static. The screens feel stimulating and they're always changing. And in this case, sometimes it doesn't feel like books are doing that. So, what is the fix for this? The fix is add just enough novelty and variety to make reading interactive without using a screen. So, how can we do this? Just adding a little bit of novelty by changing the setting, changing the place where you are reading makes a huge difference. Try under the table, in a blanket fort, on a trampoline, curled up in a closet with a flashlight. The changing of environment turns a normal book into an adventure. Let me tell you a story about when I was the media specialist and I had a book club of kids. So they would come to me and we would read, but we would pick different locations. Like just changing this one aspect of the book made it feel like an adventure. We'd go out onto the playground, we'd read. We had this really tall building structure and we'd all climb up it and we'd be in different parts of the building structure and we would be reading together. And it was so fun. And it also brought that dopamine hit, that memory, and it made them want to come back. Every time they came into the media center to get me for our book club, they were excited and we were pumped up and ready to go. And I know it was because of experiences like this. So we want to change up the routine. Another thing that we can do is we can use a reading timer like as a game. So we can set a timer for 3-minute intervals and we can read for 3 minutes and then act out what just happened. Or reverse it, act it out first and then read to see what really happens next. So that can be really fun. If we make it more of a game and interactive, then it feels just as exciting and stimulating as being on a screen. Another thing that we can do is we can let kids choose. They can choose their format. Do they want to read a graphic novel? Yes. Do they want to read by flipping the pages and telling the story through pictures? That counts too. Do they want to let them decide how they want to read, even if it looks a little bit different than what the school says? So just keep that in mind. All right, let's try this tonight. Grab a blanket and build a simple reading fort. Let your child pick 2 to 3 books and read with a flashlight. It's like you're on a secret mission. And just that adding of a flashlight in the dark makes it so fun for kids. All right, let's move on to strategy number 3. And that is try a Makerspace Book Challenge that can extend the story. All right, let's first talk about what's the problem. The problems are books are over when the last page turns. Screens often invite a follow-up, like next level, watch it again. So why don't we do that with books? That can be the fix, is go beyond the book. Make reading the beginning, not the end of the adventure. All right, so what can we do? We can create a Makerspace challenge. Here's an example of a Makerspace challenge that I have actually created after reading Diary of a Worm. So in this case, the question is more like Worm likes to communicate daily, but he doesn't have any arms or legs. So how can we solve this problem for Worm? So this is the invention time to help the main character solve a problem. And so we can use simple materials when we do that. We can use things like straws and pipe cleaners and cardboard and Lego and Play-Doh and markers and cotton balls and all those kinds of things that you already have at home. We can build solutions to the problem. We don't have to tell kids what the answers are. We want kids to figure that out. We want them to come up with solutions to problems. Well, this is where critical thinking comes in and problem solving comes in, even communication comes in. And if they're working with others, collaboration, all those soft skills that we don't get a chance to practice very often, this is really an important time for that. All right, another thing that we can do is we want to allow kids to build first and read again. Let them plan their first building by brainstorming with like a blueprint. So they might first of all imagine a solution and kind of take some notes for that, make a plan, and then plan with a blueprint. And then the next thing that they can do is they build with the simple materials, they test these solutions, and then finally, we want to allow them to revise and reflect on these solutions. Did they work? And this is the really powerful moment here. All right, so I want you to try this tonight. I want you to grab my free Communication STEM Story Station. It's basically all the pages I just showed you, and try it with any book that involves a problem. Now, I give you a challenge to Diary of a Worm, so you could definitely choose this one. There is a challenge for that included in this little freebie, but you could use those planning pages for any book, and you can download it right beneath this video. All right, did you hear anything that you liked? Did you see anything that you were like, yes, I have to make sure that my best friend hears this information as well. This is going to make such a huge difference for her child or his child, and definitely make sure that you share. All right, let's talk about some final thoughts. And that is, books don't have to compete with screens. They just need to be an experience in a way that feels fun and active and connected. Let's help your child fall in love with books, one joyful page at a time. So I want you to try one of these strategies today and share in the comments. What worked best for your child? What did they respond to the most? And if you want more tools like this, sign up for my newsletter and get an easy reading challenge. Get book ideas, free hands-on literacy tools delivered to your inbox. You can find that at trinadeburyteachingandlearning.com/newsletter. And don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. And don't forget to grab your free Communication STEM Story Station. And I hope I can see you again soon. Remember, you and I building confident, joyful readers in the making, one page at a time.